G'day all. Now what we're going to do is have a look at things that you really must look at before you start unseizing any shafts or anything like that. A lot of people would get something like this, bring it back and just dump it in a tub of diesel and leave it for a couple of weeks and things like this. But what I'm going to attempt to show you is you can actually do it yourself at home, but the key thing about everything is you've got to be aware of the actual condition and the strengths and the weaknesses of what you're using. So we've got a few little items here, plus we've got the old kerosene stove, which has been very helpful for us. So what we're trying to seize is on this here, this is the actual needle bar which goes up and down. This arm here connects into the cam at the end, and as the cam goes round it actually lifts the needle bar up and down. And to keep it even, this little piston in here has got to slide backwards and forwards, and that connects onto this here, which is your take up lever, which actually pulls and finishes off the tension from underneath. So as you can see, everything is pretty important. So what's happened is this has been sitting in somebody's shed for about, I'd say 10 or 20 years. And this here was a complete and utter brick. It was as solid as solid. So what we've had to do is first we've pulled off the shaft, we've pulled off the cam, we've removed the actual pivot, and then we've taken this off. So you can see we've now loosened that. So the actual, as it goes up and down, it's able to move backwards and forwards. But what's supposed to be happening is this part of the piston here also should be sliding up and down, but that hasn't been moving. So we've had to turn around and lubricate it and get it going. And this is no different to any other shaft in any other machine. Same in here. You've got about an inch of shaft where it just floats on fluid, but over the years dust and moisture, humidity gets in there and it all of a sudden becomes like concrete. So what I've done is we've oiled and oiled. This has now been oiling for about 3 to 4 days. So we've set it there. We've freed up this mechanism at the end, which is fine. So what we've got here is you have a good look at the shaft, and you can see with the shaft here you've got a thick area here which is actually a tube which the piston goes inside. So that's actually thin steel around there. You then come to thin steel this way, coming right down to the actual pivot. So if we were actioning it up and down, it'd have a lot more strength than actually going sideways. So you've got to be very aware that this is very brittle, and you can only friction it or pressure it within the capabilities or the strengths of the actual steel that you're working. So I've sat here for 3 days on and off, oiling it, trying to work it. So what I've actually done is I've put a shifter in there, and we've actually just kept trying to work it, but I only work it to an area where it just flinches a fraction, and then I take it back the other way. So again, we're just going sideways. So last night when I did this, it felt like the actual shifter had slipped and it just gave a tiny little budge. So I relocated the shifter, moved it back the other way, and then again it was just a little crack. So I thought, I'm wondering if there's a bit of movement there. So we went backwards and forwards. We oiled it up again, left it overnight and came back. And I don't know if you can see that. There we go. So she's now shifting. And this has just been done. We've actually sat down there and we've put it on the actual bit of heat from that. And you see these little babies here? You don't touch those. You know, there is a situation where you can percussion it a little bit, but avoid these. You know, we just don't want anything like that. And this has just shown you how on an 1870 sewing machine, yeah, we'll try and pull this all the way out because I've never done this as yet. Look at that. So you can see in there, and you can see along that shaft. You know, it's like mud. And that's all been through just constantly adding oil, giving it time, a little bit of work, and eventually it'll happen. So I'm really, really pleased with this. And it'll just go to show you that, you know, you don't need the big 10 pounder, 5 pounder, you don't need the sledges. All you need is a little bit of time, a little bit of pressure, and totally understanding the lengths you can go to or the amount of pressure. Respect the machine and you will get the answer. So I'm extremely happy with this, and good luck with you guys. But, you know, in respecting what you're using, if you get a little bit too butch, you've got yourself a problem. So this has worked for us, and thank you very much for sharing this, because this is an absolute major for us. So we're really, really pleased. So now we're going to work on the actual needle bar. So thank you for that, and good luck. Respect your machine and you will get the results.